Coffee. Arguably the most important meal of the day. I feel like trauma is just like a stringing theme through this whole show. Just want to say here, maybe have the doctor take a look anyway. What's it gonna hurt at this point? Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jess the MD. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we are jumping into watching the 4th episode of The Last of Us. If you haven't seen the others, I do have reactions to episode 1 through 3, so you can go back and watch those if you're interested. I will also mention that I have no eye makeup on because I just had LASIK a few days ago and I can't put eye makeup on yet, so it is what it is. We will just roll with it. And on that note, let's jump right in.
All right, that's enough for today.
How long are we staying out here?
I figure I'll sleep tonight and drive tomorrow all day, all night. Get us to Wyoming by next morning.
So can we start a fire? I'm freezing.
Now, why am I going to tell you no?
Because infected will see the smoke.
No, fungus isn't that smart. This is too remote for infected anyway.
People? So what are they gonna do, rob us?
Well, they'll have way more in mind than that.
Those people you said. There's no way anyone knows we're here, right? No one's gonna find us.
No one's going to find us.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, Ellie is just a 14-year-old girl. As tough as she can act in terms of developmental psychology, she's still 14 years old. So it's absolutely reasonable for her to be afraid of things like that. Honestly, any adult would be afraid of other people coming and finding them and killing them for whatever reason, supplies or whatever. But this 14-year-old girl hasn't really lived long enough or experienced enough theoretically to know when things are scary because they're really truly dangerous or if it's a fear of a young child.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
You don't like coffee?
Coffee. Arguably the most important meal of the day. Brought to you by a doctor, apparently. No, but for real, coffee. Love it. Very important. I totally get it, especially if he's trying to drive through the night. That's a lot of driving. I've been on my fair share of road trips that we drove through the night for, and coffee, best friend, honestly.
Are you gonna fucking pay? Are you fucking dead? You fucking killed yourself, motherfucker!
With Joel having had such a long, hard piece of metal pressed up against his throat for so long, with the full body weight and probably more force of a full-grown man, that can easily damage the trachea, which is the airway. It can damage the esophagus. There can be a lot of soft tissue damage in the throat and in the neck that can lead to problems down the line. If the trachea is damaged, that can make it almost impossible for him to breathe. So in cases of strangulation, sometimes it's not just the fact that the person wasn't able to breathe for so long, it's also the fact that even if they were able to get out of it in some way, if their trachea is damaged and collapsed, they still can't breathe very well. And that airway blockage is what causes people's demise sometimes too.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's over. We're not fighting anymore. I'm gonna go home. I'll tell everyone you're good. I don't know what to do. My legs don't work. My mom isn't far. If you can get me to her. We can trade with you guys. We can be friends. I didn't know. I'm Brian. What's your name?
What is happening?
Get back behind the wall.
No, I'm sorry, please. We could just talk. I'm sorry. Please, no, please, I'm sorry, please. No one asked you. I'm sorry. No, we can just talk. Mom!
Oh, I feel like trauma is just like a stringing theme through this whole show. This 14-year-old girl, I am sure she's seen a lot in her 14 years, but this man who has been begging for his life and now she's being told to go hide while Joel kills him, that alone is traumatizing. There's so much to deal with. And in a situation like this, there's not a therapist or anyone to deal with it and unpack those feelings and thoughts. You just kind of have to figure it out yourself. I think part of this is that at this moment, they're just trying to survive. So you're not thinking about the traumatic things that hide away in your brain that eat at you later. There's going to be a lot to deal with here.
Wow.
Who did this?
We think it was outsiders. We found a truck loaded. It's not a Fedra vehicle, but they were heavily supplied. Could be mercs.
Well, if Henry has a radio, maybe he found someone out there. Maybe he called these guys in. Will he live? What if I had a doctor?
There's no chance. I'm sorry.
Just want to say here, maybe have the doctor take a look anyway. What's it going to hurt at this point?
Are you okay?
I'm all right. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Thing is I didn't hear that guy coming. He shouldn't have had to,
Well, you're glad I did, right?
Well, you're just a kid. You should know what it means to... It's not like you killed him. But... shooting... I know what it's like. First time that you hurt someone like that. If you, well, I'm not good at this.
Yeah, you really aren't.
It was my fault. You shouldn't have had to. And I'm sorry.
Wow, that was so powerful. Under his extremely tough, thick exterior, Joel is still an emotional person and definitely still a dad at heart. You can't ever not be a parent once you are one. And the power of the emotion there behind his voice, first of all, that was some excellent acting. And second of all, he obviously knows just how important it is to talk about that kind of stuff and is basically doing like a little therapy moment. Again, I keep saying this word, but in the apocalypse. And I think that's really important and excellent for him to be addressing those kind of really traumatic things right away to maybe potentially help her and keep her from having traumatizing flashbacks and all the things that he experiences with his PTSD that they haven't shown in a couple episodes. He clearly has some deep-seated emotional reactions to killing and hurting someone. It's just coming out of him. You can hear it in his voice. But over time, I think he's hardened to this and just knows that he has to do these things to stay safe himself. It's scary what the apocalypse can do to people.
All right, we'll make our way up, and come morning, I'll take a look at the city and find our way out.
We're going on 42 flights.
45. But no, not all the way.
How far?
As far as I can make it.
to have some pretty good cardiovascular endurance. I'm sure he can probably make it up all 45 flights of stairs. Granted, he has just been in more than one fight, so he may be a little sore too.
Hey,
Yeah?
when we were talking about hurting people, what did you mean it wasn't your first time?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right. You don't have to. I'm just saying. It isn't fair, your age, having to deal with all of this.
So it gets easier when you get older?
No, not really. But still.
Joel,
Hmm.
did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
I love that Joel knows that this is something that needs to be talked about, that needs to be worked through when it's fresh, honestly. And he's doing a pretty excellent job at trying to get her to talk about it without being too pushy. He's also opening up a little bit about his stuff, and it's just really nice to see that they're forming some sort of bond and are able to lean on each other to work through these kind of things together. Also, cutting it with a little bit of humor was just mwah, chef's kiss. I love that. Honestly, in situations that can be really traumatizing, it can actually be really helpful to break it up with a little bit of humor. It might seem sometimes like you're being insensitive, but in order to be able to process and to be able to get through those hard times, humor is one of those things that can be extremely helpful. I will say, being in the medical field, being in emergency situations, sometimes after the tough, crazy things are over, you need to cut it with a little bit of humor to be able to just decompress and process, because otherwise it will eat at you. It really will.
Joel. Joel!
Oh shit. What a great cliffhanger to leave that episode on. Genuinely enjoying this show quite a bit. Stick around for the rest of the episodes in this season. Like down below, subscribe to the channel. It really helps a girl out. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jess the MD. I really enjoyed spending time with you. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I will see you in the very next one. Bye.